Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to get that nose going. So the nose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and you know what, I'm going to try something a little bit different this time around. I'm going to pop a loop right here, and I think that might help. And I also might notice that if I hit one, that loop is that edge is pretty straight, so I can probably go over here and do that little trick I did again and hit one there. So they kind of blend together a little bit better. And now I'm just going to grab this edge right here. Okay. And I'm going to go, let's do this one in the side view. So I'm going to move this over to the side view. Okay. And then I can hit extrude. Drag it. I'll drag it a little bit here. I'm looking at kind of how the nostril works here, and I'm just going to hit G, extrude again. I'm going to kind of line up with the edge of the nostril. G. And then I'm going to go up. I'm going to follow the shape around here of the nose. And then there's kind of usually a little bit of a chunk of gristle right here. Okay, great. And then up around the nose, we're getting into the bridge of the nose. There's kind of there's a chunk of bone right here. Okay, so I'm just going to hit G. Repeat the last tool command. I'm trying to make an edge here here, we'll hit, whatever, I'll tweak it afterwards. I'm just kind of making an edge right here that lines up with the eye really well. And when I hit G, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to be thinking, where the brow's kind of slightly off here. Be thinking about that here as well. And I can do one more, and I'll be thinking about that a little bit here, but then this area here gets a little bit funky. But, there, we've just traced the outside of the nose. Okay, so that kind of works. And then I can go and get my append polygon tool, and I can start filling in these couple of pieces here. There we go. So those are filled in. And again, that area gets kind of funky in here. I have a few things to worry about. And then, as I get to about here, we kind of look and, well, there's a lot of stuff to worry about here. A lot of stuff to worry about in the nose. Well, I find you could do this a bunch of different ways. Maybe what I'll do this time around, just grab this. I feel like that should be down just a little bit. Actually, to be honest, this little furrow line does go up over here, and then there's something. I think I'm going to fudge it a little bit for now, and maybe I'll tweak that up later. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my append polygon tool, and let's just append my way across the nostril here. And again, I'm going to leave a bit of a gap here, and I'll hit G. And we'll go here. There. And so I've just kind of drawn a shape across my nose. Oh, that looks charming. If I go in and I grab, say, this edge and I bring that in, I can maybe put this to the front view while I'm figuring this out. Okay, and I'm going to pretend that nostril doesn't exist for right now, because I guess I can play around and get a bit more geometry out of it in a better shape in a moment. Okay, we'll say it's something like that. So that's not doing too bad. And I could also insert an edge loop through here. Okay. And I won't move that out too much, just a little bit for now. Okay, and then I'll grab, say, an edge, any component around here, and if I just go to Mesh, and I hit Fill Hole, that fills that in. I can do the same thing down here. Cheap. Fill hole. Okay, so we filled that in. Now we just got to figure out how to make this look a bit better. Okay, so if I go and I grab my multi-cut tool, I could probably just go and cut straight across here. You can even start to see how things might work across this way too. Okay, and all I'm doing is I click and then I middle click to finish off the line. Here, if I want to, if I hold down Control will actually insert an edge loop for me. Okay, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, how do I want to make this flow here? well, what if I did this, and I kind of put this down this way? Then I end up with this funny little end-gon in here. How do I want to get rid of the end-gon? I could do this a few different ways. I could say, well, if I put one there, and then I went here, and I right-click, and if I hold down Control, boop, I can pop in an edge loop. And there you go. That's a fast way to do it. Okay, so this comes down here. And then some of these here. It feels like it might be a little bit on the stretch side if I do this. What if I did that? Actually, what I'm going to do here, I go from there to there to there. Boop! And I go from there to there to there. There to there. Okay, it kind of built out a little bit of a shape of the nose here. That's kind of nice. And then maybe I'll go from there to there. There to there to there. Okay, and then I got a nasty end-gon again. Oh no, an end-gon. What am I going to do? And this end-gon, we could handle this a couple different ways. I don't know if I want to put a point there. Actually, you know what? That thing I did up here, when I went up and I put this in, here, I'm just going to hold down Shift and right-click, delete edge. Remember, when I use this trick here, that gets rid of all the vertices that were associated with that edge, too. Well, if I got an end-gon here and an end-gon there, here gone, there gone, everywhere, an end-gon, if I go in and I could find a way to somehow associate these two with each other, if I go and I grab the multi-cut tool and maybe I went right through there, boom, there, got rid of my end-gons that way. That was easier. Okay, so a couple different solutions to the same thing. And then we get to here. I think I lined it up so these two could be friends.
Yeah, I'd like it if you guys would be friends. And
this feels out a bit too much. Okay, I'm going to push that in a bit. Okay, and that should be good. And then here we get your nostril shape. Let's just go and push this. What time we got? 7 minutes. Okay, good, 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 good. And actually, here's that spot where I was kind of, my nasolabial furrow isn't lining up quite right. But we'll say it's fine for now. Okay, and so for the nose hole, I can just grab this face here. And if I went in and I did a quick extrude, and I scale it in, whoop, I could offset it too. And I'll push it in a little bit. Okay, and I can hit G. And I'm just going to switch to the move tool. I'll pull it up into the nails. Okay, let's see what that looks like when it's opaque. Okay, and what happens when I hit 3? Okay, now it doesn't look like I have much of a nostril. Okay, so the nostril is kind of very thin here. Well, I'm going to add some more geometry. What if I grab these faces here? And let's grab those faces. I'm just going to hit 1 so you can see those. That's nostril face. I have nostril face. And if I grab those and I just hit extrude and I pull those out, okay, I've got a nice nostril shape right here. Except for right here, that's a problem. Okay, it looks like some kind of nasal jetpack. It's not going in really smoothly, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this edge and I'm going to go and spin it. Actually, I can't use the hotkeys on my computer because they spin my monitor around, and that's not fun. I'm going to use spin edge backwards. I'll put it on my shelf. Boop. Okay, so I just spun that edge. Here, I'll hit this one. Boop. And then I can take this one and just delete it. And now I've got this nice nasal flare. Okay, and I could smooth this out and whatnot, but there we go. I'm just going to take my move tool and push that in. Okay, and then maybe the stuff inside the nose here, I'm just going to hit 1. What do we got here? We got a face with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 faces. Okay, great. So we can just grab the multi-cut. Since this is 8, we just know that, boop, I can go in and make quads. If it was uneven, if it was like 7, then I'd have to take an edge out somehow. That should be good. Okay, and some of these things look a little funny. Okay, so I'm going to have to play around. I can just see that, yeah, when I extruded I didn't scale this down very well, so now I've got this issue to deal with. And then if I push these two edges closer, I can get this nice little crease. I don't know if I like that. Is there another way that would look better? There probably is, but I'm making a tutorial video, so I'd spend some time later. And then, like that. That doesn't look nice. Okay, let's see what happens when I hit 3. And that's going to do for now. Again, her nose looks really weird because it's actually, you know what? If I go in here and I grab a vertice, what time am I at? 10. Okay. If I go in and I'll grab a couple vertices, I'm just going to hit B and get the soft selection going. If you hold down B and you middle click side to side, you can start to play around with the geometry a little bit, and kind of, you just got to watch out that that middle part there is going to move in, right? So I'm going to have to snap those all again, but you already know how to do that, so it shouldn't be that much of a pain in the ass. It just feels like some of these need to come in a bit. And I should probably look at the front view, see my image here. Yeah, you can see this nostril is totally off. Okay, let's see how that looks. Because we want to make sure we're kind of in the ballpark. Feels like this is coming out a bit too much. Yeah, that's that nose right there. Okay, anyway, I'll turn the soft selection off, and maybe if I just grab all the vertices, if you grab this vertice and you hold down shift and you double click, should get all the vertices in between. You bastard! Did it do it? No, of course not. Just hold on a second, let's try it again. So I grab this one, hold down shift and double click. Wonder where that is. Okay, whatever. Let's go to the front view. And I'm just going to turn off the smooth, and I'll just kind of take a look at it. And if I grab all these vertices right here, hold down X. There. And if I just make this so it's opaque, and I'll hit 3 one more time just to see how we're doing. And I'm going to call that okay for now. I don't know if I like that. Anyway, whatever. We'll call this okay for now. And I'm going to stop the video here.